Isn't it odd how long McGregor is taking to come back to the UFC? You'd think he'd be back by now, but nope. So what's taking so long? Let's find out. So what's the holdup? The last we heard from him, McGregor switched to boxing to face Floyd Mayweather in August 2017, losing in the 10th round.
Floyd Mayweather is sweet to McGregor, but since then, much less.
This was one of the most highly anticipated fights of all time. Why? Of course, because of all the back and forth the two had before the fight. Before Notorious decided to take more than a year off from the sport, he returned to the UFC and got his butt handed to him by Khabib.
There's the count! Khabib Nurmagomedov has finished Conor McGregor tonight!
Again, there was a lot of trash talk involved before the fight, but that's what McGregor has always been famous for. But they were all empty threats because Khabib wasn't playing. The man literally fought with bears as a kid. Needless to say, McGregor was barking up the wrong tree, but he learned the hard way. His body wasn't the only thing Khabib hurt that day. After that huge loss,
this second round he'll be fresh. Let's see what he does with it. Hey, they look a little frantic. I mean, that would fret.
McGregor took on Dustin Poirier again to take his revenge, allowing him to earn back his pride. But nope. In the first round of their rematch that July, McGregor ended up breaking his left tibia and fibula.
1 second to go in the round!
It's over.
This is when McGregor decided he was going to make some changes. He was going to make a return. McGregor has consistently shown himself working hard in the gym to recover after his awful injury versus Poirier. McGregor's over 46 million Instagram followers noticed that he was ready as ever to flaunt his big physique because McGregor wasn't shy about his transformation, and he posted a photo. If Schwarzenegger and Bruce Lee had a mad Irish baby. One sparring video also showed McGregor getting attacked by a rival on the left leg that had been badly hurt during the incident in his previous fight. This was when McGregor pronounced himself as back. So when is he coming back, you ask? Dana White stated in June 2022 that he hoped to have his most popular fighter back by the end of the year or the beginning of 2023. Another big issue was the USADA requirement for UFC athletes to undergo drug testing for at least 6 months prior to competing. But that time restriction was dropped because McGregor was in recovery. My man clearly found a loophole there, but what for? Here's where things get interesting. All hell broke loose when it became obvious that McGregor had left the program as part of his rehabilitation. There's been a lot of controversy surrounding this because MMA fans and athletes alike aren't having it, since he's the only UFC fighter who hadn't undergone testing in 2022. Some even claim that he didn't get tested because he was on steroids.
For the champion, Jose Aldo Jr. Conor relaxed and smiling. Oh no! He slapped him!
I bet he was, or is. How else do you expect to become as jacked as he is now? The man literally went up a whole weight class. So who's he getting jacked up for? He probably has somebody in mind, right? Well, if Conor McGregor returns to the UFC in 2023, we'd all be interested to see who his next opponent will be. One potential fight that could happen is with Michael Chandler, because Dana has talked about him as a potential opponent for McGregor. It'd be a good fight too, because he's had 3 losses in 5 fights, losing to Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, and Dustin Poirier. Then there's a slight possibility he might face off against Islam Makhachev. Since Khabib is retired from fighting and Islam is under his wing, this could be the perfect opportunity to get back at Khabib. Needless to say, it would be a huge risk though. Oliveira would be a more realistic matchup, but McGregor and Diaz, with whom he exchanged victories in 2016, might also make sense for a trilogy fight.
There's a good hard left hand over the top.
Hear me out. In the lead up to their first 2 fights, Diaz and McGregor made an effort to fire each other up in the name of entertainment. Now that Diaz is 37 and doesn't have a rating inside the top 15, he might be the easiest fight McGregor's ever gonna get.
And here we see the leg kicks beautifully placed by Conor McGregor. Here's another one.
But in a recent post, McGregor hinted that he might compete at lightweight or welterweight. If he faced Diaz, there's a chance he'll compete in welterweight. Either way, I'm pretty sure everybody's excited to have the foul-mouthed Irishman coming back soon. It might actually be a good thing he waited so long to make a comeback too. And we'll tell you why. Sometimes injuries are a blessing in disguise. Conor McGregor has been struggling to recover from a very bad leg injury that he managed to get in the first few months of 2022, as you already know.
Superstar in mixed martial arts history returns to the proving ground tonight.
McGregor's leg was still healing toward the end of last year and still probably hasn't healed 100%. According to all the sources, Conor McGregor wasn't quite convinced that his leg had healed enough for him to return to the octagon. Mind you, it can actually take years for some injuries to recover. Of course, some people are going to see this in a different light. Not every fan will care about how long an injury takes to recover or how it could affect an athlete's performance. Heck, McGregor's probably lost a lot of followers already because of how long he's been out of the game. But it would be much better to see a healthy Conor return to the UFC than a Conor who only has a tiny amount of his true ability.
Irishman, a slightly more measured approach than usual, but getting the job done once again with some vicious hands.
Conor is taking as long as he needs to heal, which is exactly why it's a good thing. The damage could even make him stronger than ever when he recovers. Look, even boxers sometimes miss weeks, months, or even years to recover from what seems to be a minor injury. Look, I get it. This isn't boxing, and this rarely ever happens in MMA, but try to find the silver lining. Here's a picture of McGregor. Just look at him. Can you imagine the type of damage he could do with a physique like that?
Brandao looks hurt. This could be the end.
Big left.
This could be an early stoppage. Another first round for McGregor.
It'll all be worth it in the end for me, you, and all the UFC fans out there. Trust. But wait, what if we told you this was all part of Conor's Grandmaster plan?
After I defend my belt and climb myself back up, I think I will get my shot at that lightweight belt once again.
Well, Conor McGregor might be looking into acting. This could be one reason why it's taken him so long to come back to the UFC. Throughout 2022, Conor has prioritized other interests, and as of right now, there are no signs that this will change. Conor's actually planning to start an acting career by playing a lead role in a future high-profile Hollywood film. Why, you ask? Well, he wants to join the ranks of athletes turned actors like Dwayne Johnson or Arnold Schwarzenegger, and as you might expect, this leaves him with very little time to focus on his MMA skills.
His hips, having a conversation, looking to finish the fight. That's it. Wow.
So that could explain why it's taking him extra long to make his return on top of recovering. Yeah, you can't expect him to jump right back into the octagon as soon as he's recovered.
UFC featherweight champion of the world. You did it all, sir. Congratulations.
But can you imagine him acting? Or is somebody's wife sliding into his DMs in a movie? Better yet, what if he was a Peaky Blinder? He fit right in, especially with his trashy Irish accent, which we all love.
Party tonight, celebrate, spend time with me family, and then get back in the gym and train. And any one of these little melody films.
Either way, even though everybody would prefer he returns to the UFC, for all we know, he might end up somewhere else. We just hope this will be the year and that we see more of him.
Hat on your head, Joe. The smell of that thing. Don't ever let him put that hat on your head. It's good to be back.
Where do you think McGregor's head is at right now? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next one.